Welcome everyone. My name is Yalith. I'm going to be teaching a 60-minute flow tonight. Yeah, we're going to have some emphasis on gentle back bends and some more heart-opening postures. If you're going to be using my playlist, you can go ahead and start that. So to start our practice off, I want to invite you to take a reclined posture with a slight back bend. So either taking 2 blocks to your mat, one right underneath your shoulder blades and one to support your head, or you can take a rolled up blanket and put that right underneath your shoulder blades, finding a place that feels good in your body to just gently start to open your chest. Feel free to adjust your props to any level that feels good and supportive to you. And starting to tune into the breath, taking smooth inhales and smooth exhales. Eventually, if it feels good to you, with an exhale, allowing your eyes to flutter closed as you settle into the space. Take a moment to check in with your physical body, scanning from the top of your head down towards your toes, noticing any areas of tension or ease, comfort or discomfort. With each exhale, trying to release a little bit more into the pose. Eventually also coming to check in with your thoughts, what you perceive to be the quality of your thoughts this evening. And finally, taking account of your emotional and energetic body. Again, just observing what you've brought with you into the space today. No judgment or attempt to change, but an invitation to just be here fully. As you bring awareness back to the breath, maybe adding a mantra with each inhale, repeating to yourself, I know I am breathing in. And with each exhale, I know I am breathing out. Inhale, I know I am breathing in. Exhale, I know I am breathing out. Repeating that to yourself silently at your own breath pace. Finding this present moment and focusing only on this present moment. option to stay here for as long as you'd like, but if you feel ready, rolling to your left side to remove any props from behind you, and slowly keeping your eyes closed, coming up to sit in Sukhasana, easy pose with your legs crossed. Sitting up on any props that you'd like, blocks or blankets. Keeping awareness towards your breath as you find yourself grounded in the space. Finding length in your spine, stretching up through the crown of your head. As shoulders open up, back and down, finding space in your heart as we just enforced with that posture. And as you're noticing your breath, maybe starting to cultivate Ujjayi breath if that's something you'd like to practice. Taking an inhale through your nose and an exhale through your mouth as if you're fogging up a mirror. And then eventually finding that same tension in the back of your throat with both your inhale and your exhale. This breath is called the victorious breath. We use it in more active styles of yoga to power through the practice and to generate heat in the body. If you'd like to join me, bringing hands to heart center, take a moment here to set an intention for your practice if you'd like to do so. I want to invite you every time we come back to this place with hands at heart center to come back to the breath and to come back to your intention. Using that to ground you into the present moment. To start our practice, we'll take one community breath, taking an inhale through the nose. And eventually an open mouth exhale. Allow your hands to release to your lap. Find length in your spine. Again, feeling sit bones rooting into the ground. Eventually let your head release forward and start taking some movement of your neck. Maybe rolling it from one shoulder to the other, thinking of bringing your chin towards your shoulder. Moving with your breath as you exhale your head through center and inhale it to one shoulder and then the other. Maybe eventually starting to take your ear to your shoulder, finding more length in the sides of your neck. And eventually, if you'd like, taking some full circles with the head, finding length in all sides of the neck at every point of the rotation, not allowing your head to release back to protect your neck. Still moving with the breath. And eventually taking that to the other side. Seeing if the breath will allow you to find more space in this movement. When you feel complete, finding a neutral head, gaze forward. Take your left arm up overhead, finding it to the right side of your head, and gently press your left ear towards left shoulder. Allowing just the weight of gravity, your hand on your head to gently pull and intensify the stretch. Eventually on an inhale, coming back through center, taking the same thing on the other side with your right hand to the left side of your head. Releasing right shoulder towards right ear, allowing the weight of gravity to gently pull you deeper into the stretch. When you feel even, coming back to a neutral head, finding both hands behind your head. Allow your head to release back into your hands for a little bit of weight, opening up your shoulders. And on an exhale, curling forward, allowing the weight of your hands to pull your head down towards the ground, finding a stretch in the back of your neck. Maybe taking a little bit of movement here. And we'll repeat that with a breath, inhaling to open the elbows, extend through your heart, and exhale to curl forward, finding a stretch in the back of your neck. Take that one more time. Inhale to come up, gaze shifts up, and exhale to round forward. Eventually releasing your hands to your lap and allowing your head to come back up to neutral. We're going to take some movement of the spine here, thinking cat and cow in your seat. Starting by arching your back, inhaling to lift your gaze. Exhale to round your back, thinking cat, finding any level of stretch in your back. And moving through this with your breath, luxuriating as much as you can through every part of this movement. We'll be here for a few more breaths. For your next inhale, arriving with a neutral spine. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Exhale to wiggle right fingers for orientation. Exhale, finding your right hand to left knee. Gaze can shift over left shoulder. Finding a gentle twist here. As you inhale to find length in your spine and exhale to deepen the twist. Maybe thinking of drawing your navel back towards the front of your mat to deepen the twist even further. And on your next inhale, coming back to center, inhale, both arms up overhead. Wiggle the left fingers for orientation as left hand comes to right knee. Gaze shifts over right shoulder. Breath is flowing here, finding length on your inhales and release into the twist on your exhales. You pull your left sit bone back into the mat, finding a deeper twist from your tailbone all the way up through the crown of your head. And next inhale, coming back through center, arms come overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Coming over your feet, we'll meet in tabletop pose, finding wrists directly under shoulders and knees under hips. When you find here, take a couple rounds of cat and cow at your own pace, inhaling to arch your back, lift your gaze, open your chest, exhale to press into the floor, finding cat. Inhale to cow, and exhale to cat. taking a few breaths here, luxuriating through the movement. Allowing yourself to take any conscious movement of the spine that feels good to you. Eventually coming to a neutral tabletop, and now looking over your right shoulder towards your right hip. Taking some C shapes. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale to look over left shoulder. Allowing through this at your own breath pace. And the next time you look over your left shoulder, coming back to a neutral tabletop. Tuck your toes and hover your knees as you shift your hips back and press into a downward facing dog. Take a moment here to walk your dog and arrive in the pose for the first time of this practice. Maybe taking a deep bend in both knees, allowing your hips to dial up towards the sky. And eventually finding a moment of stillness with equal weight in hands and feet. On an inhale, come up onto the balls of your feet. Look forward to the top of your mat and slowly walk in between your hands. Finding Uttanasana, forward fold. Find hands to opposite elbows in ragdoll pose, allowing your spine to waterfall forward here. Maybe swaying back and forth slightly, finding any movement that feels good, bending knees as deep as you'd like. Eventually release both hands to the floor, take a deep bend in both knees and slowly roll up into Tadasana mountain pose. Rolling shoulders up, back and down, energy through fingertips. Can you feel your feet on the ground, all four corners? Taking an inhale, arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale to fold forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, coming to fingertips or hands on shins or thighs. Exhale to release, forward fold. Take a step back into plank. Finding stability in this pose. Stay for the inhale. Exhale to release knees and feet down to the mat and lower all the way down to the mat, onto your belly. Hands shift under your shoulders. Inhale to peel head, neck, and shoulders up off the mat to baby cobra. Exhale to release down. We'll take that 2 more times. Inhale to peel head, neck, and shoulders up. Exhale, release down. 1 more time. Inhale to press up, baby cobra. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Exhale to come back down to the mat. Inhale, coming through tabletop and back into downward facing dog. A moment of any conscious movement here. Before we rise up onto balls of feet, look towards the front of the mat and gently step in between your hands. Inhale to Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale to swan dive forward. You find the same cat and cow-like quality throughout all of this movement of the spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back into plank pose. Finding stability here. Stay for the inhale. Exhale to release knees and feet down to the ground and lower all the way down to your stomach. Taking arms wide to either side of your mat, coming up onto tented fingertips. Press on an inhale, coming up slightly. Exhale to release right shoulder, right cheek down to the mat. Inhale to come back up through center. Exhale for left shoulder, left cheek. Flowing through that a few more times. Inhale through center. Exhale, right side lowers. Inhale through center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, coming through center. Exhale to come all the way down onto your belly, hands under shoulders. Inhale to press through tabletop and exhale down into downward facing dog. Eventually rising up onto the balls of your feet, looking to the front of your mat and stepping in between your hands to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Feel the balance of energy between right and left side body here. As we flow through that sun A variation one more time, inhaling, arms overhead. Exhale to fold forward, swan dive, bending knees as much as you'd like. Inhale, halfway lift, finding length in your spine. Exhale to fold, step back, plank pose. Take an inhale here. Exhale to release knees and feet down to the ground and lower all the way down to your belly. This time, arms come down to your sides with backs of hands facing up. Inhale to lift head, neck, and shoulders, and also float your arms off the ground into a variation of locust pose. Exhale to come back down to the ground. Inhale to rise, shoulder blades pinch together. Gaze shift slightly up. Exhale to roll down to the mat. Taking that one more time. Inhale to come up. Exhale to release down. Hands come under shoulders. Inhale through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few neutralizing breaths in downward facing dog or a wide-legged child's pose. Taking knees wide to the edges of your mat. Throughout the rest of this practice, if you ever want to come to child's pose, think of wide-legged child's pose as your go-to. Allowing your spine to neutralize. Eventually, we meet in downward facing dog, rising up high onto your toes and step or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms sweep up. Upward salute. Exhale to fold forward. Deeply bending knees if you'd like. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Take a large right step back into a runner's lunge. Option to come up to tented fingers or blocks here. Finding stability in your legs as if you could hover your hands off the floor slightly. Eventually, on an exhale, shift forward and release knee and foot down to the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to bend both of your arms, allowing hands to fall behind your head, emphasizing the back bend of this pose. Gaze shifts up as you open through your chest, finding stability in your core in this back bended pose. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Energize through your back leg and step back into plank pose. Stay for the inhale. Exhale, release knees and feet to the ground and lower all the way to your belly. Hands reposition under shoulders. Inhale to press up cobra pose. Exhale, release down to the mat. Inhale through tabletop, meeting in downward facing dog. Being intentional not to round your spine in downward facing dog, but instead taking as big of a bending your knees as is comfortable for you. Eventually taking a large right step forward in between your hands into a runner's lunge. Stabilizing your legs here. And on an exhale, shift forward to release knee and foot down to the floor. Inhale, arms overhead. Finding prayer pose above your head, and exhale to release, finding a slight tricep stretch here. Opening up through your chest. Gaze just up, finding a back bend. Take an inhale. And on an exhale, hands come down to the floor. Energize through your back leg and take a large step forward to meet your right leg at the front of your mat in Uttanasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll take that again to the other side with variations. Inhale, arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Deep bend in the knees. Inhale, straighten knees, straighten back. Halfway lift. Exhale to find palms to the floor. Take a large left step back into runner's lunge. Stay for the inhale, opening your shoulders, finding space in your heart. On the exhale, shifting forward to release knee and foot down to the mat. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale to goal post your arms, opening your chest, pinching shoulder blades together. Finding as much of a back bend in this pose as is comfortable for you. Eventually inhale, arms extend up overhead. Exhale to find palms to the floor. Energize through your back leg and step back into plank pose. Stay for the breath. On an exhale, release knees and feet down to the mat and slowly lower all the way to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. Can you traction your elbows back towards your hips to emphasize the back bend of this pose? Exhale to release down to the mat. Inhale through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breath is flowing. And inhale, take a large left step forward between your hands. Dial open shoulders, open chest. See if your gaze can shift forward here. On an exhale, releasing knee and foot to the ground. Inhale, arms overhead. Asana, knee down crescent. Inhale here, exhale to goal push your arms, seeing a pinching shoulder blades together behind you. Finding as deep of a back bend here as you find comfortable. Breath is flowing. Eventually inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands meet the mat. Energize through your back leg and take a step forward to the front of your mat. Release down and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead, upward salute. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, stay here for a breath, feeling the balance of energy in left and right side body. Tuning back into your Ujjayi breath. When you're ready, sweeping arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold, hands plant, take a large right step back into runner's lunge. Stabilize through your pelvis, open your chest. Eventually inhale to come up towards crescent lunge, finding airplane arms. You're opening your chest as if moving towards cobra pose or locust pose in your upper body. Stay for the inhale and the exhale. Inhale to sweep both arms up overhead, finding a back bend here. Gaze goes up between your hands as you extend through your fingertips. Stay for the inhale. Exhale to find hands to the mat and step back into plank pose. Stay for the breath. Release knees and feet to the ground on the exhale and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, cobra pose. Finding if you can get a little bit deeper into this back bend. Finding space between your shoulders, opening your chest. Exhale to come back to the ground. Inhale through tabletop, exhale downward facing dog. On an inhale, take a large right step forward in between your hands. Again, finding runner's lunge. This time, inhale, arm sweep up overhead. Exhale to goal post your arms, pinching shoulder blades together, opening through your chest. Eventually, hands cross behind your head, behind you. Inhale to find a deeper back bend here, opening through your chest. Finding strength in your legs here. Breath is flowing. Eventually, arms come back overhead. Exhale to plant hands on the floor and take a large left step forward to meet right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Let everything go and forward fold. As we prepare for the other side, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold forward, swan dive, bending knees as deeply as you'd like. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, take a large left step back to runner's lunge. Stabilize through your legs. Inhale to come up to airplane arms, thinking of a cobra or locust body. Expanding through your front body. Stay for the breath. Eventually, arms overhead, finding a deeper back bend, gaze looking up towards the sky as you energize through your fingers. Inhale here, exhale, hands to the mat, step back into plank pose. Stay for the in-breath. Exhale to release knees and feet to the ground and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale, exhale to press up into cobra pose. Can you pull your elbows towards your hips, deepen your back bend? Exhale, releasing down to the mat. Inhale through tabletop into downward facing dog. Find a moment of neutralization in this pose. Eventually take a large left step forward in between your hands into a runner's lunge. Dial open shoulders, straighten legs. Hands come up into airplane arms, opening your chest, gaze shifts up. Stay for the breath. Inhale, sweeping arms up overhead. Exhale to goal post your arms. Squeezing shoulder blades together. Eventually finding hands clasped behind you, finding a deeper back bend. Gaze shifts towards the ceiling. Finding stability in your lower core still. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to the mat, take a large step forward in between your feet, in between your hands to a forward fold. The moment of release in this forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Maybe thinking of a little bit of a back bend here. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead, upward salute. Exhale to fold forward. Uttanasana, step back into plank pose on the inhale. Exhale to lower all the way down to your belly. Take a moment with hands stacked on top of hands. Toes touch, heels kick out. Take a moment of breath here. Eventually finding your hands back by your sides, backs of hands face up. On an inhale, peel chest, shoulders, and hands up off the floor into a locust variation. Exhale to release back to the mat. Option to continue with that or to float hands and feet off the mat, inhaling to come up into another variation of locust. As you hold with the inhale and exhale to release back to the mat, we'll take either of those variations one more time. Inhale to rise. And exhale to release back down to the mat. Option to stay there and take that again, or hands come under your shoulders as if pressing into cobra pose. Inhale, head, neck, shoulders, feet raise up off the mat, hands release from the mat. On the inhale, stretching hands forward like Superman. Exhale to goalpost, arms pinching, shoulder blades together. Following through that with the breath, inhale to reach forward. Exhale to goalpost arms, taking that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale, goalpost your arms. 1 more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale to release down into crocodile pose. Toes touch, heels kick out. Maybe the other hand comes on top as you rest your forehead to your hands. Tuning back into your Ujjayi breath. Eventually coming back to find hands under shoulders. Option to take either of those first options, the locust or Superman variations again, or if it's in your practice and you'd like to take bow pose, finding both hands to both feet on the inside of your arches, thumbs point up. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you kick into your hands as you come up into the pose. Finding a back bend here. Feeling the opening of your chest as we sustain for a few breaths. One more round of breath to inhale, pressing a little bit further up wherever you are. Exhale to release down to the mat, hands under shoulders. Inhale to press through tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find neutral spine here. Eventually rising up to the top of your toes, looking towards the front of your mat and stepping to meet your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Eventually release hands down by your sides into Tadasana mountain pose. Spiraling your chest open. Finding strength here and grounding. Moving into some balance, stepping your feet together. Bend your right knee, bringing it up. Standing on your left foot, rooting down through all 4 corners of your foot. Energy remains through fingertips and through right foot. You stay for the inhale. Exhale, option to find airplane pose. Thinking warrior 3 legs with cobra upper body. Finding a bit of a back bend here as we've been cultivating through class. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Stay for the inhale and the exhale. Inhale to come back up. Staying on 1 foot, knee comes up. Exhale to release down to the floor. Take a moment, roll your shoulders to prepare for the other side. Finding again Tadasana mountain pose. Walking feet together. Inhale to lift left leg up off the floor. Finding stability in your right foot. Engaging Pada Bandha, all four corners of the feet pressing into the floor. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, maybe sending your weight forward. Extending your leg behind you, thinking warrior three, legs dialing toes down. Finding a slight arch in the back. Thinking locust pose in your upper body. Eventually an inhale brings you back with left knee up. And an exhale to release both feet down to the ground. Inhale, arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to swan dive forward. Virasana forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Step back to plank. Take an inhale here. Exhale to release your knees down to tabletop. And to sit back into rock pose. And we're going to take some back bends from here. If you would prefer to take bridge pose on your back, that is a great option. But if you'd like to come with me, taking a variation of camel, finding blocks behind you at any height that feels good for you. Eventually finding hands to those blocks. And then inhale to press your hips up. Maybe releasing gaze. Eventually carefully rolling down back into rock pose. We'll take that 2 more times. Don't round your back yet. Just allow it to find neutral in rock pose. Again, finding hands to any level of blocks. Inhale to press up into camel pose. Keeping the breath flowing. So you find space in your chest. Is there any place that you could send a little bit more breath in this pose? Exhale to slowly come that down, releasing hips to heels. I'm coming to find a neutral spine. We'll take one more like that, finding hands to blocks or to the floor, to your feet. Inhale to press up into camel pose. Imagine someone pulling your hips forward to deepen the back bend. Breath is flowing here as you take one more inhale. Then exhale to slowly release down to the floor. Coming back into rock pose. Now taking a wide-legged child's pose, finding knees all the way out to the edges of your mat as you mouth heart down to the floor. When you're ready, slowly roll up to rock pose. Sitting on your heels, release your hips to one side and send your feet around, finding Sukhasana. We're going to take a hip opener from here, crossing one leg on top of the other, wherever it feels good for you. You can think half lotus with your foot closer to your hip, or you can think more full pigeon with shins stacked on top of each other. Either way, pulling up long through your spine, all the way to the crown of your head. Slowly walk your hands forward, only as much as you can, keeping your back straight. Take one more inhale here. Exhale to fold forward, maybe coming to elbows, releasing forward. Maybe coming to blocks. Maybe your forehead releases to a block or the floor. Finding any release in this pose that feels good to you. When you're ready, taking weight into your hands in order to press up to seated. Now crossing your right leg further over your left to find Gomukhasana legs, the knees stacked on top of each other. Finding a slightly different hip opener here. Right leg is crossed over left. Taking your left hand now over your right hand to find eagle arms. If that feels good to you, pressing elbows up and hands away from the face, shoulders drop down. Still finding space in your chest. Gaze maybe shifts up. Can you breathe into the space right between your shoulder blades that we've been working all class? Take one more inhale here. Exhale to release hands down to the ground. Shift back to release your feet and extend them out in front of you into Dandasana variation. You can let your legs release, maybe shaking them out a little bit. Eventually taking arms up overhead and exhale to fold forward into Paschimottanasana. Either taking an active variation of this pose, extending through your feet, or taking a more passive variation, relaxing forward. Wherever you are, can you press your heels into the floor to activate the stretch? Maybe using any blocks to support your head or knees or anything that needs support in this pose. Maybe using a strap to assist you in the stretch. Eventually, again, using your hands, roll up to a seated position. Spine is straight. Now bending knees again, this time finding left leg on top of right, finding either half lotus or a full pigeon pose with shins stacked on top of each other. Find length through your spine as you carefully walk your fingers forward, keeping a straight back. Go to the place where you feel like your back would round, then press your sit bones back into the floor, trying to find as much space in this pose as you can. Allow the breath to be full here. Eventually taking one more inhale and exhale to fold forward, maybe coming to elbows, maybe using a block for your elbows or forehead and just releasing into this pose. When you feel even, using your hands to press up to seated. Now crossing your left leg further over your right, finding Gomukhasana legs, knees stacked on top of each other. Again, sitting up tall in your spine, this time crossing right arm over left to find eagle arms on the other side. Right arm is on top, left leg is on top. Inhale to find space, lifting your arms. Exhale to press your shoulders down and release your hands away from your face. Breathing into your upper spine, the space right between your shoulder blades. As your gaze maybe shifts up slightly towards the tip of your fingertips. Taking one more inhale here. Exhale to release. Hands down to the floor. Shift back onto your hands to release legs out in front of you. One more time, taking Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Inhaling, arms up overhead. And exhale to fold forward. Maybe at first trying to keep your back as straight as you can in this pose. And when you feel complete there, on an exhale, allowing your spine to round over to find a deeper expression of the pose. Again, pressing heels into the mat to activate the stretch. Breath is flowing. When you're ready, using your hands to roll back up to seated. Weight comes into your hands in order to scoot your hips forward towards your heels. And then slowly roll down. Maybe hands come to thighs, rolling all the way down to your back. Knees pointed up. Allow your feet to float off the mat. Bring your knees to chest. Cross your right leg over your left. If you can, if it's in your practice, maybe linking ankles again for eagle legs, or just leaving your legs here with right leg crossed over left. Now finding your left arm on top of your right, finding eagle arms. On your back, finding your core, pressing lower back into floor. Take an inhale here. Exhale to bring elbows to knees for an eagle crunch. Exhale to release back. Keeping lower back glued to the floor. Taking two more like that. Inhale, elbows to knees. Exhale to release. Inhale, elbows to knees. Can you press your right elbow into right knee? Suspending for the breath. Eventually releasing head, neck, and shoulders to the floor. Allow your arms to come out to your T as you leave your legs there and allow them to slowly release to the left side of your mat for an eagle twist. Once your legs have stopped moving, maybe your gaze shifts over your right hand. As you think of releasing your right shoulder down to the floor. We'll be here for 3 more rounds of breath. One more inhale. Releasing your feet, uncrossing them. Come to pull your knees up closer to your chest as you slowly roll back onto your back. Find yourself lying on your back. Notice any difference between right and left side body before taking the other side. Now crossing left leg over right, maybe hugging the ankles if it feels accessible to you. If not, just leaving legs crossed, ankles free. Now finding right arm over left. Again, finding equal arms. Shift your feet forward a little bit till your lower back starts to come off the floor, and then don't let it press it back down into the floor. Activating your core. Take an inhale here. Exhale to bring knees to elbows. Inhale to release back down to the mat. Inhale to come up again. Floating shoulders up off the mat. Knees pressing into elbows. Exhale to release, taking one more like that. Inhale to come up. Can you press left elbow into left knee to engage this even further? Stay for one more breath in. Exhale to release down, head, neck, and shoulders release to the mat. Arms come out to a T. And slowly allow your legs to release over to the right side. Finding a twist. Only once your legs have stopped moving, maybe your gaze shifts over your left hand. We'll be here for 3 more rounds of breath. When you feel complete, shifting gaze back up to the sky, releasing the cross of your legs. Pull your knees in towards your chest before slowly rolling back onto your back and releasing feet down to the mat, knees pointing up. Take a moment to grab any props that you'd like for Shavasana before extending legs long, palms face up. Maybe lift your breastbone and allow your shoulder blades to scoop under your back. And eventually finding your final resting pose here in Shavasana. Take another moment, turning back into your breath for one last time in this practice. Taking a moment to shift awareness around the body. If you care to follow my voice, bring your awareness to crown of head, forehead, tip of the nose, chin, throat, chest, right shoulder, the whole right arm, chest, left shoulder, the whole left arm, chest, abdomen, pelvis, right hip, the whole right leg, pelvis, left hip, the whole left leg, lower back, middle back, upper back, back of the neck, back of your head, crown of the head. The whole body relax. The whole body relax. The whole body relax. Seeing if with the exhale you can surrender into this pose anymore. As you allow the breath to go back to its natural rhythm. Celebrate the little things, precious moments, small victories, a joyous chill down your spine, a smile you can't stop with a frown. Allow yourself to feel so bowled over as if an angel has given you a shove. See the sight you've seen 10,000 times before today, so new, so unfamiliar, so preciously present. That's what makes life's journey a miraculous string of happiness throughout the weeks and years. A beautiful face you'll never kiss, dance with a stranger, relish little moments of victory, of success, of smart work well done. Honor the now. Celebrate the instance of total peace, looking out upon that most beautiful landscape. You know, friend, that scene the mother painted with perfection, the one you'll surely never forget. Look around when all is right and say it aloud. All is right. When you're ready, start to deepen your breath, allowing subtle movements to come back into the body, wiggling fingers and toes, maybe circling ankles and wrists, shaking head side to side, massaging the back of your head on the floor. If it's calling to you, taking a big morning stretch, and eventually rolling onto your right side, using your right arm as a pillow. Take a moment on your side to reflect on your practice. Think back to your intention and whether or not you met it. Find what you did find in this practice and find gratitude for that. Find gratitude for yourself, for showing up for yourself on your mat today. And gratitude for this practice and all that it has to offer us on and off the mat. Eventually using your left hand to press into the floor, coming up to a comfortable seat, finding Sukhasana again. Eyes can stay closed as hands come to your lap. Finding a tall spine. If you'd like to join me with hands at heart center, I honor the place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor the place in you which is of love, of truth, of life, and of peace. When you're in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one. If you'd like to join me, bring thumb knuckles up to third eye center. We'll end this practice with a blessing of namaste. Namaste. Thank you for your practice.